Morning from the Eastern Time Zone. It is Saturday, February 25th, 2023, and I'm making this video in response to a comment, favorable comment about the moving these forms. I just did another video with this stuff on it here, finding the three main positions that cover the fretboard. Here I have all the scale degrees, and I believe in knowing the scale degrees as well as absolute, note locations. I think that in one way or another, you're going to have to know all of it in order to be comfortable with knowing where everything is. And so one of the questions is, how can I move these, and then how can I build chords? And I think it was about avoiding bar chords. So if I don't answer it correctly, I will. We can get clarification in the next comment, and I'll mention you in that, and then we'll go from there. So, for instance, if I want to move these shapes, it really is quite simple. If I take all of this, for example, this is C, because whatever the one is C. And before I move it, let's open up the circle of fifths here, where I prepared placing the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This is where the circle of fifths is convenient, because the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 are all in one zone of pi, and then the 7, or the diminished chord, would be right here, but the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 are all in there. So what does that mean if I want to switch to, say, the key of G? Then D would become my 5, this would become my 1, C would become my 4, B is now my 3, E is my 6, and A is my 2. And if that's the case, then we just have to, with the scale degrees, we just have to move the wherever the 1 is to G and move it all together, and then everything that you see there will become G. So that's why the circle of fifths is so powerful, because it reveals all that information about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So definitely get to know that, study that as much as you can. I'm going to do some other videos on that as well, for learning to hone that in. So where is the 1? We're going to have to come off the fretboard here a little bit. So I'm going to move some of this to the next one by going like this. See, I've taken the 1 and placed it on G, and then whatever is above here, so I'm going to need to come onto here. I'm going to slide this all over here, just give us more room to look at it. So in this case here, we have now E is the 6, F sharp is a 7, G is the 1. So we've just moved all these shapes. If I want to take this, these smaller ones here, 3 in G is the B, so that would start here. The 6 in G is E, so that would start here. And the 2 would be A, so that would come here. Sometimes these patterns, because of where they are on the fretboard, a certain note may fall off the fretboard. Obviously, we've gotten to the open one, and that's that right there. So and if we wanted to if we wanted to go further than this in G, then we would simply duplicate right here. I've got, oops, copy all these right here. Oops, in this case I left this note out. But all of these are continuously movable. If I wanted to go to G sharp, for example. Oh, and one point is no matter what key we're in, we're always going to have these three pentatonic shapes available to us with on the 6, the 2, and the 3. Those locations will just change. So if I wanted to go to G sharp, A flat, there we are. Now A flat, the only open string involved in A flat is the G note. So this is how they're movable. I recommend that if you're going to study these, look at one key at a time and decide where you're going to go. Spend a good amount of time on G, and then after a while move to A, where A is your 1, E is your 5, D is your 4, and then these 3 become your minor chords. And do it with every key, or at least C, A, G, E, D, the main open chords on guitar. Start there and see how much it improves your knowledge of the fretboard. So this shape is fully movable because they're scales, and you can always move scales for that. Okay, so the next the next step is we're going to talk about building chords and potentially avoiding bar chords. So when we're in one of these positions, like such, if you know this, fine. If you let's take major chord, for example. A major chord is going to be a 1, 3, and a 5. I'm going to pull from here. The 1, 3, and 5 form a major chord, and then we end up getting shapes that look like the E chord from 1, 5, 1, 3, and then 5, 1. This is an E shape, and it would require playing a bar across the whole thing. There's different options for this. I think playing these 3 notes right here, just in the shape of an E, and avoiding this string and this string, produces a nice sounding chord if you're looking to avoid the bar chords. Additionally, you can always play power chord shapes without that, or even adding this note without barring. This would be the 1 finger, the 3 finger, the 4 finger, and the 2 finger. Playing this right here. But let's take a look at a little bit more about how we build these here. Again, we need a 1, 3, and a 5 to build a major chord. So if we're going to get a third on the next string, it's got to go down, and this is where the G, C, and F shapes come from, or even the D shapes come from this right here, with this being the 5. This is a movable chord right here, but it's on the higher end. The A shape is also useful. We have, if this is our 5, this becomes our 1, and usually a major third is here, but now it would be here, and I think playing these three together make for some good movable, you know, movable shapes where you're avoiding playing a full bar chord. I think eventually bar chords are necessary. You mentioned that you're still new. Uh, I would practice holding down something in a straight line like that and trying to get every tone out of it. Eventually, it'll come. Although bar chords continue to be a a thorn in the side of everybody. I set my guitar down for a couple of weeks. Doesn't happen often, but if I don't play it, then the bar chords are the first thing to start to not feel so good. So basically all of your cowboy chords, take partials of those and use them and see if they sound full enough. And as long as there's no open strings involved, then they become movable. Again, I think the main shapes that I like the most are, when we're avoiding bar chords, is the E shape, the A shape, both 5-1-3s, the power chord shape. Oops, that's not a power chord. The power chord shape, but with this right here. And additionally, just playing like some 1-3s, like that, and avoiding the rest of these 1-3s can be played on these strings as well and still have some substance there. Or if you can reach it, you could play the 1-3-5 here. When we move it over to the B string, 1-3-5s look like that. When we move it over here, the 1-3-5 now looks like that. This would be a higher end chord, so it depends on what you want to sound like. But you could still play accompaniment chords if you're singing and playing, wanting some of the low end representation in there, and still make your chords movable, and they're all related to the shape of the open chords. I will, like I said, I'll mention you in the comment, and if that answers your question, great. If not, leave me another comment, and I will try to clarify further. Hope you enjoyed the video, and see you all next time. Thanks.